98.3 WISS, real news and great conversation in Oshkosh. Here's your Daily News Roundup.
For 98.3 and 96.5 WISS News, I'm Lisa Hale. The Oshkosh Area School District will present its revised budget reduction recommendations for the 2026-27 school year to the Board of Education tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. The plan makes cuts of over $4.6 million to address a $5.5 million deficit. The district undertook an intensive review process following community pushback on the original plan, which included reducing 70 positions, including 23 positions that would have been cut after requiring elective teachers to teach an additional class each day. The revised plan removes planned staff market adjustments for the administrators. That lowered the projected deficit from $6 million to $5.5 million. Then the revised plan still cuts at least 43.8 full-time equivalent positions. More will be cut as secondary school scheduling reductions have not yet been determined. A press release from the district said the updated plan reflects a collaborative effort to address the district's financial challenges while responding to priorities identified by the school community. The Board of Education meeting will be tomorrow at the district administrative offices on Eagle Street. There will be time for public comment during the meeting. There will also be a board listening session at 5 p.m. at the Perry Tippler Middle School cafeteria. For links to the document detailing all of the proposed cuts and the breakdown of cuts to the central office, district, elementary, and secondary schools, see our story at WISS.FM. The inmate at the Oshkosh Correctional Institution who died following a fight on Wednesday has been identified. OCI Communications Director Beth Hardkey said Teng Vang died on Thursday. 3 people were involved in the disturbance, and one, Vang, was sent to the hospital with a medical emergency. The Oshkosh Police Department is investigating the incident. Wisconsin's top health officials are again breaking with the Centers for Disease Control. Savannah Tomei-Olson has the story.
Last week, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reduced the number of diseases they recommend kids get vaccinations for. They used to recommend shots to protect kids from 17 diseases, and their new guidelines would only protect against 11. They've stopped suggesting kids get vaccinated against the flu, hepatitis, and some strains of meningitis. This is something Secretary of Health and Human Services Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has pushed for. President Donald Trump says this change matches other developed nations, but Wisconsin's Secretary of Health Kirsten Johnson says changing guidance to match other countries when we don't have the same healthcare infrastructure and support as those other countries will not work as well for the U.S. She says, quote, "It creates chaos and confusion and risks the health of Wisconsin's youngest and most vulnerable citizens," end quote. The state DHS will continue to recommend protecting kids from those 17 diseases, and Wisconsin doctors can continue to follow that guidance. I'm Savannah Tomei-Olson.
After 6 weeks of declining gas prices in Wisconsin, now the price in the state has risen about 11 cents. Nationally, the price for a gallon of gas is down almost a full cent. Patrick DeHaan with Gas Buddy says the upward movement is due to price cycling. He said it's also far too early to tell if tensions in Venezuela will affect prices at the pump. Locally, prices in Green Bay jumped from $2.43 to $2.52 a gallon. Appleton jumped 6.2 cents to $2.49 a gallon. And in Oshkosh, the prices varied dramatically from $2.40 to $2.60 a gallon. Incarcerated persons could get better access to hygiene products under new proposals. Legislation at the state capitol would prevent markups on basic items like shampoo, soap, lotion, and toothpaste inside of Wisconsin's prisons and county jails. And they'll give inmates a basic stipend to buy those items each month while giving a wider range of menstrual products for free. The bills were introduced 2 years ago and didn't make it through the session then. They're further along this time and got a hearing last Wednesday with some bipartisan support. Wisconsin and 25 other states are part of a massive recall of tater tots. Federal health officials say the products may be contaminated with clear, hard plastic fragments. The tater tots were sold under the brand names of Ore-Ida Tater Tots and Cisco Imperial. The Food and Drug Administration says the Idaho company is recalling nearly 40,000 cases of their tater tots. Visit the FDA website or foodsafety.gov to see if you have the recalled products in your freezer. If you do, throw them away or take them back to the store from which they were purchased. I'm Lisa Hale for 98.3 and 96.5 WISS News. For news anytime, visit WISS.FM.
Badgers basketball tonight. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with Sports NCAA. The Wisconsin Badgers on the road at Minnesota. The Gophers with a record of 10-6. The Badgers now 11-5 after that huge win over the weekend against number 2 ranked Michigan. NBA, the Bucks are at home. They're taking on the Timberwolves. NFL, the Packers players beginning their off season. Should Matt LaFleur be back as the head coach? I asked Micah Parsons.
Yeah, I believe so. I've had my fair share of coaches and people around this league that I've been around, and Matt's one of the best guys and people, like as a person. I've been around since I've been in this league. I reached out to him when I started seeing this, and I said, man, when I agreed to come here, like, you were part of the reason why I came here. I want you a part of this, and, I love you. I think you're a great coach, and, he appreciated those words, and we had a brief conversation, but Matt is, I think he's a great guy.
That's Packers defensive end Micah Parsons with Sports on Mike Clemens.
I'm meteorologist Brandon Bormans. Mostly cloudy skies with highs near 40. That might sound nice and mild, but it will feel more like the 30s when you factor in the breeze. For tonight, lows down into the upper teens with a few snow showers possible. Colder on Wednesday, highs only near 20.
That's your daily news roundup for 98.3 WISS in Oshkosh. Find more news anytime at WISS.FM. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts.